Welcome to HopexPodcast. Hopex Market, a company that runs in the clothing world and makeup and hair and so much more, such as the brand Opex itself and Opex Clothing, Opex Blog, Opex News, and Opex Everything. Opex Market runs a blog, a news line, a joke line, a reading line, a poem line, and so much more. You can go to Opex Market and get discounts, free shipping on everything that you buy. Opex Market is a giving company. They donate every month. Opex Market does giveaway every month. And they give to people all around the world, whatever or whoever you are. Opex Market has different things from your skincare products, like your hair, your body butters, which are all organic, no toxications, and no chemicals. If you like to enjoy or have fun, Opex Market has something called Pexi. It's a social media platform where you can go and meet people all around the world at HopexMarket.com. Every order that you purchase are free shipping, which means you pay no money for any product that you buy. Everything is free shipping. And they have coupons and discounts every now and then, which works great for me and for anybody else. So, if you'd like to know more about Opex Market, go to HopexMarket.com. Hello everyone, I am Praise Hopel from HopexPodcast, and this episode we talk about faulty people, faulty leaders, and faulty world. We will talk about how we people has impacted the world and have colonized ourselves in this little box that we place ourselves in. It's going to talk about humanity in general and our leaders and ourselves and how we are no different but just common people who live the world and make different changes and little changes that has affected us today. I hope this episode helps you to learn something today about humanity and leadership. I hope it helps you to have a change of mind to be a better person than you are today. I am Praise Opal and stay tuned. Hello everybody, I am Praise Opal from Opex Podcast. Today's topic will be faulty people, faulty leaders, faulty world. I choose the topic because a friend of mine think it would be a great debate. Because lately, myself and him has been talking about a lot of things like corruption that has been going on, of course, since the beginning of time. And we just decided to come up with a topic and talk about it since corruption just never ended. As long as human has been in this world, corruption has been as well. So, the leaders of today are very precise and different in the way they do things. That's, of course, the definition of me saying that the leaders of the world are what I want to believe that they are. But in reality, we all know that not all leaders are bad and not all leaders are good either. We have people that are just evil and they choose to do things in a different manner. They choose to do or lead the world because they have little power. They feel as if it's okay that they do whatever they want to do. But first of all, let us understand that these leaders of the world are people. People that have just people. People that were born from a woman. and of course that has been in this world and live as human beings. These people came from a woman's womb, birthed by a woman. Either they have parents or not, or either they grew up without parents or not. These are people like you and I. Born, live, get educated or not. Some people have power, some people grew up with foster parents, some people grew up with a good parent, some people grew up with young moms, dad, single moms, single dads. But eventually, however it goes, these leaders are people like you and I, and they have jobs to help and control a nation. But the main topic is what have they done with it and how they've done it. So, we human beings are born into this world, and we continue, especially how this world is run. So, let's start from the beginning. There was a time when there were great leaders that actually care for the people. I'm not saying there are not these leaders now in this world. There are, it's just not as many as before, as we all know. Now, these leaders in the beginning of time were people that actually created the notion that's called laws, regulations. They created a system for all citizens according to that nation or each nation that these leaders are over. For example, leaders in Africa, of course, are people that created laws and put things in order for people to follow rules and regulation for this world to be a better place, so that the nation can be better and people can, of course, stand for something and enjoy that certain place that they convey. And the same thing goes for America, North America, South America. The same thing goes for Asia, Australia, all the continents, all the nations in the world. Every nation has its leader and has many leaders and systems, rules and regulations and laws that are in place to make sure that the nation and people are safe and benefits everybody to make it a peaceful place. Now, first of all, let us define the system. The system is a method that is put in place to make things better, that is put in place to be effective, that is put in place to make sure that the nation not just benefits from everything that comes with that nation, but also to make the nation stand out and do things that benefits the citizens. That's the system. It's a method. And under the systems, you have a lot of things, such as, of course, laws, regulations, other systems, levels, and so on and so forth, which of course will not be covered all in this podcast or episode, but we will try to at least just branch off a little that we are going to get along with as we go along. That's what's under the system. Now, the reason why laws and regulations were created were because crimes were being committed by people. Crimes were getting too high. The reason why the laws were created was just not for crime, but also to put things in order, to make things right, so that people can have an easy way of living, so everybody can enjoy not just a beneficial government, but a great government to the true citizens of each nation. Laws were created for reasons, for crimes, for purposes, for systems, for method, for people, by the people. People are humans. Like I've said before, when a man or a woman mingled and they created something beautiful and then have a baby, they either choose to train the kid or a child in the right way or the wrong way. People say there's no wrong way in parenting, but then we have people that teaches their kids to hate even each other, their siblings, their family members. We have parents that teaches their kids to love. We have parents that didn't even have the guts to train their kids. Maybe they left them to foster home, foster care, or they couldn't take care of them. We also have parents that couldn't afford taking care of their kids and they have to give them up. We have parents that not just couldn't afford taking care of the kid, but just doesn't care. So the kid went rancid or otherwise trained herself or himself and got better or became a better person. But however we got here to this present world, all these people that are put in these positions to help us as human beings, as people, as the citizen of any nation that we are currently, staying or living by. These people are human beings just like you and I. It could be a married man that wakes up every morning and come to the court. But once he steps his foot in the court, he became a lawyer because that's his job. Or it could be a judge. Once he put on his uniform, his whole mood will change. It could be a doctor who, once he steps out of his car, is ready to work. Or a common server who steps into a restaurant and ready to work. Or a cashier. Once they put on the uniform or get ready or put themselves in the mood to work, they became that person and stand for not just a company but also a job and a position as a figure of something at that very time. It could be the president that is the president every minute. But once that term is up, they're no longer president, they're called ex-presidents. See, there are two types of leaders. One, the one that does just and actually have the strength and the mind to do right according to its people, her people, his people. Or the other leader will choose to do what his party want him to do. Will choose to do according to his own will, to his own wants, his own desires, without thinking twice of the help that his citizens need. This topic will go forever if we keep on talking about corruption. Corruption sometimes can start from home. But at home can also be in your mind. See, the most powerful tool in this thing that we call human being, ourselves, are many things. Our thoughts, our minds, our choices, our actions, our determinations, ourselves. There will be no corruption if it never started from our thoughts, our minds, our anger, or things around us, or people, our friends, implication, manipulation, corruption, corrupted fans, and greed, selfishness, the want of power, desire, the need to control, the want for fame and money, just power, people wanting to control and use their greediness and selfishness as a tool, people wanting to belong, people wanting to fit in. There will be no corruption if we human beings just reject negativity and accept that, even though the whole world is backing up from the goodness, that there is that one person that is just there and does what's right and just say no to negativity, even though the whole world is saying yes. It's so crazy that corruption is now normal to people. People just generally think that when they see bad things, like people doing bad things to each other and horrible and terrible things to one another, they think it's normal. And they say that's life. They will say something like it's life. I mean, it happens all the time. They will put it on the news will talk about it, people will talk about it. But what people don't talk about is the change. And then when they talk about the change, they just have conversations, but not putting change into place. I believe that we live this world not just to explore it and just have fun, even though we are supposed to, or love each other. It comes more than that. I realize that when the baby is born, the baby cries. But when you feed it or you take care of the baby and it gets its desire, it stops. Why is that? Science will probably have a whole different meaning to that in a scientific way. But in my definition, I think it's a metaphor saying this world is evil. Why can't babies smile when they come out of a person or the womb or whatever? Because I'm not scientifically smart. Why can't babies just smile and laugh when they come out? Why do they have to cry? See, you don't have to believe in anything spiritual. That's fine. But people cry for two reasons: sadness, which is pain, or joy. But if baby can talk, they will probably tell us why they cry. I think it has to do with all the evil things in this world. They probably seen it, they probably don't see it, but for some reason they cry, right? Science will give me a whole new reasons why they cry, but I don't want to go into that. And why I don't want to go into it is because no matter how much evidence they have for why baby cry, it proves everything right. That we hurt each other and make each other cry in pain, in agony. Or we could do something that is good to one another and we could bring tears of joy on our faces. Corruption is on your mind. It's not because you were raised in a home that's wealthy, or you have a wealthy family, or you have a big house, or you're African or African American or Caucasian or Asian or Mexican or Hispanic or whoever you are, or because you're better than somebody else. No, corruption comes from a corrupted mind, comes from experience, comes from making choices, comes from ego, power, greediness, and selfishness. Corruptions come from evil. People choose corruption over saying no to negativity. They choose corruption over using their power in the right places. People choose corruption over putting down their ego and controlling the ego, but instead using the ego to corrupt things and torment and put each other in agony. For example, a man that was born as a baby, grew up in a wealthy home, do all the right things, went to school, graduated, nice man, but one day walked into a shopping mall and shot 20 people. And the doctor find no mental illness or anything. And all these people that he shot didn't have nothing in common because they were all different race, just mixed up in this shooting. You see, there are people with mental illness, true. But hating each other, that is corruption. Okay? Evil lives on our mind, in our minds. They want to belong, that people can say, oh, she's my friend. The want of attention, of desire, of power is many times the reason why we do evil. And this happened repeatedly too many times. And all of them, what, has mental issues? Really? Really? Are you guys kidding me? For real? Yeah, maybe it's true. Even if it is true, do you really believe it's all of them? Let's be real. Let's face reality. We do certain things sometimes because of our ego and the want of what we want, our desire. The leaders of the world have systems of bringing people to believe the things they want. And not all of them. We have great, amazing leaders that actually care for people, for citizens, for humanity. But because we have so much corrupted leaders, it's so insane that we can't even identify who's corrupted and who's not corrupted anymore. And this is not just in a certain nation. This is all over the world. Africa has corrupted leaders all over in each country. America has corrupted leaders in each state. Asia has corrupted leaders. So does Australia. Okay, so does Mexico. So does every nation has something corrupted. It's just faulty people with excuses for evil, from evil to evil, by evil, back to evil, through evil, and evil itself. All these excuses to do evil against one another. People ask me every time, why don't I focus on other topics? I will. Trust me, I will. But I believe in goodness. And I don't think there's anything like it. I had experience with people that tell me they would rather do bad and evil and worship negativity because it brings them and satisfies their soul with joy than do good things. These people were my friends in the past. I didn't hate them. But one thing I did was stood away from them. Because I realized that they could corrupt my mind. I'm not a negative person. They could corrupt my mind and manipulate my ideas. I realized that these people wasn't good for me. They weren't good for me. They're not good for me. Because I knew my purpose. I know what I want in life. So I took negativity and I buried it. And before I buried it, I burned it to the ground. Because I told myself, it's not a part of me. And I don't want it to come to pass. That is why I talk about this. Because this is me to the whole world. I can never be somebody that the world wants me to be. I cannot. Why? Because whoever I became or made myself become It's all by me and the people that has helped me along the way, and the grace of God, of course. But see, people that are leaders of the world today are just regular people that sleep in their bed, eat breakfast, lunch, supper, or at least live like human beings. They use the restroom like you do. They take shower. They walk on the streets. They probably exercise or not. They do regular things like human beings does. But then, once they put on the garment of their job, when they sign in to do and lead the world, there's a change there. They are putting themselves in a position. They call it professionalism. But you know what I call it? I call it a decision to do your job in the right manner and just do what's just or do what's unjust. Because then when you put on that garment of your job or what you want the world or people to believe, you have to choose a choice and make a choice to do the right or to do the wrong, no matter what job you have, and do accordingly to how it's supposed to be done. I don't need you to pinpoint leaders and mention people's name because, like I've said before, there are people like you and I. I could drop off this episode right now and go to my job and put on my uniform, sit at the table or at the court. And me just sitting there, let's assume I'm a lawyer at my table, at my chair. From that moment on, I'm a lawyer and I have to do my job. But when the word is faulty, you have to realize it's not the word, it's people. People are the faulty ones. People like you and I that does normal things every day. They might look flamboyant on TV, might look glamorous, might look professional, might sound professional, because that's the way they were taught, they were believed to do things. But then they start to implicate other people with their actions and their character because of their goodness or negativity. When people are faulty, they can toxicate the atmosphere. Okay, they toxicate the atmosphere. They put toxins from their mouth. The words they speak, the actions can toxicate the air and make it poisonous for other people to live and can implicate everybody that's around that atmosphere. It's just like that. Maybe you're a person that's a bully and you bully people at your job or your school. You are a faulty person. Maybe you do it for a reason, but it doesn't give you any right to make other people's life miserable because yours is not going so well. Maybe you're just a normal person, but just have this nasty, disgusting character. That your character is so bad, nobody wants to even come in contact with you. Because your words and your actions will chase them away like a bird. And they don't want to deal with it. That's a faulty person. You see how people are faulty? Maybe it's arrogance, maybe it's evil, maybe it's whatever it is. As long as it's negative and it toxicates people, that it makes them feel uncomfortable and unfair, that it hurts people. You are toxicating the atmosphere. I'm sorry, but I'm really not sorry because it's the truth. You need a change. And this is everywhere in the world. We toxicate each other's atmosphere and we affect everybody. We implicate people around us. And then we keep on with our negativity and then it spread like a fire. And it keeps on spreading and then we pass it along to people and they pass it along. And then we started planning evil against one another, doing evil against one another, and then it became a thing. And now we have more crimes. And we do it so bad that we started to organize and plot bad and negative things. Like, we were going to lynch tonight. Or we were going to kill next. Or are we going to depopulate the people? Or are we going to bring up corruption? Are we going to jail people? Or we were going to put hands on? We were going to fight tonight? What gang we're going to be in? I mean, who's next in line to die? And then we let corruption take over as human beings, and we continue. Faulty people, faulty leaders, faulty common people, faulty world. These happen every day in the world. In all nations, in all countries, in all states, in all cities. Even the most peaceful places on earth have crimes because of humanity and our choices. This episode is supposed to help you understand what corruption is. Corruption is because of us, human beings, our minds. We allow it. See, the world will not be a better place. I mean, at least not as long as human beings keep on with this mysterious and devious evil. It's not going to be better. It's going to get worse. I'm sorry that you have to hear it this way, but it will. Why? Because it wouldn't make any difference then. Because I'm pretty sure people like me or before me have said numerous things and everything that is to be said. But tell me what changed. Some people change, but doesn't stop corruption and evil. It continues. Because people are trapped and drained and drowned into this negativity that it's so normal, they don't even know where to start to do the right thing. People are so drowned in this negativity, they're so blinded by it, that they think they're so right. Everything is in the right places, so just leave it alone. People are so scared, they have so much fear on their mind, that they are too scared to stand up and fight for what's right. Human beings, people have made this world so hard for one another. People don't even care for standing for the right thing anymore. So yes, evil is going to continue. But for the ones who are willing to make a change, it doesn't continue with you. But at the same time, when your atmosphere is intoxicated, you have to either leave that atmosphere or that environment, or you tell negativity to leave you alone. But you are the person that I'm talking to. I'm not talking to the world. I'm talking to people that want change, that actually care for change. And I'm telling you, it's very few of us. We're not that many. It's a lot of us, but out of a lot of us, we are few out of many of us, if that makes sense. We are many, but we are only many out of too many. You know? Well, I hope you do what's right. I hope you try. And I hope you don't get intoxicated by all this negativity and this corruption and this evil. Just try. You can try. I know you can. Well, the same thing is, if you have any comments, leave them below. Call us at 404-254-9722. Email us at praiseopal@yahoo.com or praiseopal@gmail.com. Comment below. Let us know what you think about this episode. Add more things we didn't talk about. Do not pose anything against each other. This podcast, this episode, everything from Hopex Market Company and HopexPodcast. We Do not discriminate between any race, color, religion, culture, people, who people are and what they've done. We base this foundation on love, peace, and humanity, and positive things only. So please respect each other as you comment. Do not post ends against one another. It's not nice. We're trying to be better. We don't need chaos. Talk about real life issues, but talk about it respectfully. Everybody's welcome to this podcast. I am Praise Hopel from HopexPodcast. Come back again, and thank you for coming to listen today. Thank you for listening to this episode. I hope you learned something and understand that everything that we do in this world are our consequences as human beings. Without the people, there is no government. Without the government, there are many things that just might never come into life. The government are the people are the government. Every little things that we do, we blame each other or something else or somebody else for it, without looking at ourselves and see things that we can do to make a change. We either instead add on to the changes, even when we have the power to change things. Notice today that this episode doesn't talk to you about being a leader, but also changing yourself. As the world goes on, I hope you understand and come back to rethink of the things that you have become and that we have become. That every little things that we do in our environment, our surroundings, our thoughts and our minds, our actions impact everyone around us. And no matter how much you try to change the past, it can be unchanged. But we can make better of the future. So I'm calling on you in the world again that there's nothing that you cannot do or change. So I hope this episode helps you realize that your impacts and your change and your talk and your mind and your actions plays more than just what you think that they do. I am Praise Hopel. You can comment below or leave a voice note below. You can record a voice note and just leave a voice note. You can email us at praisehopel@yahoo.com or praisehopel@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. Comment, share, tell your friends about this to better humanity. That is the whole point of HopexPodcast. Thank you and come back again.